Hello everyone, welcome to my Module 8 teaching memo. I hope you're all staying safe. My stepdaughter is staying in Brooklyn with her boyfriend, not a great choice. He had to go to the emergency room for a dislocated shoulder, and the doctor told them by coming to the emergency room they were both exposed to the virus. We will know in 3 to 5 days if they get sick. Dr. Laura and I are both very concerned. For those of you who are teaching remotely, join the club. Take advantage of all the resources that are being shared on Facebook. Being an administrator, Dr. Laura is making about 10 posts a day with great information for both teachers and parents. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Housekeeping. The selective response test process has ended unofficially. However, there are still people who need you to take their tests. The revised selective response test discussion board is still open. I'm not going to close it. Please revisit and make sure everyone has at least 5 sets of test results in order to be able to adequately complete the 3-part analytic summary. I'm always concerned about people not participating in the group process of taking and giving feedback on the draft tests. I am giving credit for doing this as part of your final selective response test grade. Therefore, it is important that everyone is participating. Remember, what gets graded gets done. Many of you will be tempted to write me that people in your group have not taken your test and given feedback. As the next module ends, I will be writing to those students, and you can also use the inbox link, I believe you can anyway, to email people in your group or in the class to take your tests. A friendly reminder, for those good Samaritans, when you finish with everyone in your group, check out groups where there may be poor responses. There may be, it won't hurt to take and give feedback to more than 5 people. Matter of fact, if you make 10 posts, you get advanced credit. Remember that you need to give feedback that is actionable. Telling someone their test was wonderful does not help them make it better. Giving feedback is a skill that has been shown to increase student achievement. It's imperative that you learn to do it well. And it's even part, as most of you have seen, it's even part of the EdTPA, the assessment portion, is giving feedback on strengths and weaknesses. So this is a good time to practice. Again, I have a link in the transcript to Wiggins's 7 keys to effective feedback, so you can go to the transcript and click on that. It's a big deal, and it answers the 3rd question, how do I close the gap? Students will not know that. They will not know how they can close the gap from where they are to where they're supposed to be. All right, I also want to remind you that the selective response test answers with feedback is being, is being graded with the modified discussion board rubric. There are only 2 characteristics of quality: when you make your initial post and how many responses you make to your classmates and on how many days. Because there may not be enough people in your group to make 5 response posts, although I think every group has at least 6 people in them. I combined the groups just for this exercise, not for your normal discussion board groups. So take and give feedback to someone in another group. Obviously, to make 10 or more posts, you must do this often. I've graded your Hard as the Dickens discussion board, at least most of them. I left it open, and some of you are experiencing difficulty, life difficulties, and I understand that. The Turo community understands that. We haven't been given any directions about extending deadlines, but I am doing that on my own. So if you want to turn me in and get me in trouble, go ahead. Again, I'm not giving feedback on this on your initial post. If I told you you're still making APA errors, go back to your other 2 initial posts, the assessment of literacy or the progress monitoring posts, and look at the feedback I've given you. Most of you have not done that. I'm not saying most, because most of you are making the same errors. Okay, Module 8, because this is a course in regular and special ed assessment, I've used many different resources to give you a broad overview of the topics. And in more than many courses, it's more reading, and I understand that, but it has to be, because I have to incorporate both parts of the course. Cohen and Spencer focused mainly on special education, while Chapuis and Stiggins wrote about regular ed classrooms. Cohen and Spencer went into some detail and provided some good examples of various techniques, including scenarios of different children. If you are planning to be or already are a special ed teacher, you should download that chapter, as well as the Salvia et al. 2017 chapter, which I posted in ancillary materials. There's a wealth of good information there. You may want to start a thread on observing ELLs, a topic many of you might find useful, especially if you teach for the Board of Ed. I will share two here in the transcript. You can click on them and download them. An article by Wright, Let Them Talk, and an article by Robinson et al. Addressing ELL's language learning and special education needs. I have linked to both in my transcript. Some of you mentioned the types of errors that can occur, which is mentioned in Cohen and Spencer. This is important because observing can be subjective and susceptible to a teacher's conscious and unconscious bias. I believe Chapuis and Stiggins also mentioned ways to ensure validity and reliability. So make sure you understand how these errors can occur and be prevented, and talk about them in this discussion. I started a mini discussion on parent-teacher conferences in one section, and will probably be doing it in all of them. I shared an article on student-led conferences, which I think are very powerful. So I'm looking forward to your comments. Several of you have added comments on teaching remotely in this time of uncertainty and social distancing. I will count those comments as if you were citing sources or interacting with me. But try to maintain a focus on observation and or personal communication, how you're managing to do that remotely. As always, look for my posts. Anyone can respond to them, and you get credit for referencing if you respond to my posts. The deeper we go, the better teachers we will become. This discussion is open for another week. Go deeper, find relevant articles that are pertinent to the area in which you are teaching or want to teach. Special ed, pre-K, grades 1 through 6, grades 7 through 12. So that's it for this module. Keep taking the tests of your classmates. Many of them need expert feedback still.